Hi, Sunny here. In today's video, I want to share with you what I have found in the past few years practicing meditation. Some of the main things that have helped me to dissolve identification with thoughts. So today we're going to be breaking down why is it that we feel so compelled to just follow and pursue our thoughts, and why we believe so strongly in the content of thoughts. Then we're going to talk about 4 simple steps that you can start implementing on a daily basis that will help you to break identification with your thoughts. And then lastly, I will help you create a sort of 30-day plan where you can just practice that for 30 days. And you will see that towards the end of the 30 days, you will feel so much freer from overthinking, anxiety, fear, and just getting lost in thought. That will start to diminish. You will start to feel way more aware. You will start to grow in self-awareness and the peace that you seek. That's where that really lies. It lies within you. It lies beyond thinking. There's no peace in thinking. You know that. Thoughts make you miserable. Constant thinking about your life makes you miserable. And so that is what we are going to let go of. So what are the 2 things that make thoughts so compelling, so sticky? One is that we are identified with them. We have our sense of identity attached with thoughts. In a way, we feel that I am thoughts. I am the thinking process that is happening. And this is incorrect. To whatever degree and however long you may have been on the spiritual path, you may have discovered, hey, I am not my thinking. But that surface level discovery is not enough. We have to grow in the realization of that gradually through practice. If you have recognized, hey, I am not my thoughts, we have to continue to observe that fact and continue to confirm that in our experience. Until then, we will continue to feel compelled by the thoughts, pulled by the thoughts. Our belief in what the thoughts have to project continues to remain strong. So as long as this belief is strong, that means we are identified, you see? So this is what we have to outgrow. The second thing that keeps us very stuck to thoughts is that our sense of safety is also attached to thoughts. When you feel like I am the thought activity that is happening, now our whole sense of safety, what is holding our world together, what is keeping my life together is thought. That's what it starts to appear like, that I need to constantly think about myself and my future, my entire existence, in order to be safe, in order to continue to do better in life. So it feels like I need to keep thinking in order to avoid bad experiences, and I need to keep thinking so that I can get what I really want out of life. This is a thought-made illusion. Matter of fact, it is not thoughts which are controlling your life. We will come to see that through the practice that we talk about today. You will start to actually see that when you step out of thought, when you start to learn what is true, what is prior to thought activity, you will start to find your inherent sense of safety, peace, well-being in that. And then you will no longer rely on thoughts to feel safe about the unknown, the future. So I'm excited. Let's get into the content of today's video. Let's start talking about the 4 steps that you need to take to dissolve mind identification, to become free from being lost in thoughts all the time. So the first thing is realize that thoughts are not you. So let's run a little exercise right now. For a second, for let's say about 15 seconds, I want you to let go of all thoughts. I want you to try to stop thinking and see if you can stop thinking altogether. Now, perhaps you were able to do this for a short duration, no thinking. Through a period of intense concentration, you were just not thinking. Or maybe thoughts just kept rushing in. So for you, like let's say if for you thoughts kept rushing in, notice how you're not making thoughts happen. Even when you try to stop thinking, thinking just happens. And the content of those thoughts, you're not even choosing. For example, what thought is saying, you're not choosing. It just happens. So let's say you tried to stop thinking, but a thought still came. The coming of the thought and what the thought is projecting or saying is not you. It's not your choice. So here we start to see you are not the thoughts. Even if, let's say, for the 15 seconds you were able to not think at all, how long do you think you can maintain that before another thought just naturally jumps into your seeing, into your awareness? You see? You can try to stop thinking, but thoughts will just keep happening. Our job is not to stop thought activity. Our job is to see that I am not the thought activity that is happening. When you start to see that you are not the thoughts which are happening and you have no control, you have no part in it, now then you start to become free from thought. Then you can take your first step towards thoughts serving you rather than you being a slave to thoughts. So this is the first thing that I invite you to. Of course, you're doing it with me here today, but this is something that you're going to have to continue to do again and again after you are done watching this video. You have to see, I am not my thoughts. Not by constantly saying to yourself, thinking to yourself, I am not my thoughts, but simply trying, hey, don't try to not think something right now. But you notice thoughts still happen. And you notice that whatever the thoughts are saying, I'm also not choosing. It's just happening. The more you start to see this, the more you will naturally start to have a certain separation from thoughts, where you start to see that, hey, I am not doing thoughts. Thoughts are not my doing. They're just happening. And although this may seem like a crazy thing to say, this is very crucial to realize. You're not letting go of your power. Realize maybe you are even feeling a little threatened right now that you're discovering that you are not your thoughts. No, this is not you letting go of your power. This is you finally gaining your power back. Believing you are thoughts has made you give your power away. It keeps you lost in illusions. So now this is the first step. Start to notice that you are not choosing thought. Thoughts are simply just happening. Whatever they're saying, you're also not choosing. It's just happening. Now the second step that we have to take after this is when we see what thoughts are arising, we have to start to let go of being so interested in those thoughts just for right now. Don't have to practice this throughout the day, all day. I know that may be a big ask right now. Just for the time that you're practicing this, and I will tell you exactly how long you need to practice it and how you need to integrate this in your day. But when you are practicing this, for those moments, stop being so interested in what thoughts have to say. Notice how thoughts are always talking about the past and future. Hey, what's going to happen in my life? Am I going to get this and am I going to get that? Oh, this happened in the past and I wish it hadn't happened. Just things of that nature. It's just a constant psychological chatter about me and my life, me and my past, me and my future, me and my desires, me and my fears. For the moments of practice, you have to let go of being so interested in me and my life. It is this whole obsession with me and my life and where that must go and what must happen and what must not happen. That is what keeps us totally enslaved to the thoughts which arise. You have to start realizing that the only power thoughts have is the interest that you give to the ideas that they project. So if you are so attached right now to something that must happen, a thought about that thing is going to have a lot of power. You're not going to be able to stop dwelling in it. If you are so fearful of something that must not happen, thoughts about that thing are going to have a lot of power. You're not going to be able to stop thinking those thoughts. So start to realize, it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to just fully realize that right now, but start to realize little by little that when you are so interested in what thoughts are talking about, you are completely hooked. When you are not so interested in what thoughts have to say, those thoughts just sort of arise and subside, or you don't even sort of notice them. So for example, like a thought that you consider important about a thought about something that is very important in your life, I may have that same thought, or someone else may have that same thought, but it doesn't mean anything for them. They may not consider the same thing as important. So for them, that thought just sort of comes and goes. But for you, that thought becomes like your overwhelming theme that you're totally lost in. So it's fine. Of course, in life, you're going to consider some things important and some things not. But you have to start seeing that in moments of practice, you have to let go of interest in anything. Absolutely everything. Nothing matters in that moment. Me and my life do not matter in that moment. And you're going to start to see that in moments of practice, when you let go of interest in future, past, my life, my story, what must happen, what must not happen, then thoughts will not have the same pull over you. Now, this brings us to our third step. Once you start to let go of interest in thoughts, you can finally start to disengage from thought. Did you know that you have the capacity, the power to simply let go of thought? Of course, maybe you haven't discovered this yet because you have been too interested in your thought activity, too lost in themes about me and my life and what must happen to be able to disengage. But when you start to relax away from interest in thought activity, as we did in step 2, then you can finally gain the power, recognize your power to just let go of whatever thought was arising right now. Now, like, let's say just right now, a thought arises about dinner later and you notice yourself thinking. The moment you notice yourself thinking, you can just sort of let go. Just drop it. Just don't need to engage it in anymore. Just not interested in that right now. You can just let go. If you feel that you are not able to let go, then look at it as a turning of your attention. Your attention, when you're thinking, is lost in thought activity. Your attention is directed in thought activity without you knowing. So if you can't just let go of the thought and gain your attention back, then try to maneuver your attention, redirect your attention away from thought to, let's say, body sensation. Feel your body. Bring your attention to just your body sensation. And notice that when you redirect your attention to body sensation, you're not thinking. When you're thinking, you're not aware of body sensation. So you see, every time you start to think during your practice, when you're practicing this, every time you notice yourself thinking, just bring your attention back to body sensation. You can even use breath, Breath is also a useful place to anchor your attention. Anchoring your attention somewhere means to just look at it. Look at body sensation with your inner gaze. Bring your attention to your breath. It doesn't mean think about breath. Think about body sensation. Bring attention. Attention is wordless, conceptless. Whenever you notice it in thought, you just simply bring it back. This is the art of disengagement, and this is so crucial for you if you need to learn how to dissolve mind identification. Because until you start to realize that you can disengage and that it is safe to disengage, that nothing falls apart. Matter of fact, it actually works even better. Things still get done, but now they happen much more peacefully. My worries start to slip away. My fears start to just fall away. This is a wonder that you don't need to rely on thoughts to work your life. You see how now thought is just losing power over us? The art of disengagement is so key. This is not a denial of thoughts. This is not a denial of life. Why do we, this it itself is another thought-made illusion that dwelling in thoughts is needed for life, and that is, trying to accept life. Some people say, "Oh, how could you tell me to disengage from my thoughts? That's a denial of life." No, actually constantly thinking about what life should be and what it should not be, what happened and what will happen, that is a denial of life as it is. When you step out of thoughts, when you disengage from thoughts, life is just as it is. That is the actual acceptance of life. That is actually learning to face life as it is. Here you actually start to realize that constant thinking about life is a denial of life as it is. That's why it feels so terrible. That's why there's no peace in it. Whereas the more you step out of thought, at least in moments of practice, do this first. Forget about the rest of your day. At least in moments of practice. When you step out of thought, you find yourself completely at peace. You start to regain clarity. After you practice, even your thinking becomes a little more creative rather than dysfunctional. But that's for later. That's a different conversation. But that's what I mean to say with this step. You have to learn to disengage from thoughts. Turn your attention away or simply just drop thought and start to rest without thinking. Be without thinking. Be aware without thinking. This is key. So now this brings us to our fourth and final step, and this one is the most important. This one encompasses all other steps, but this one is very, very important, which is when you are free from thought, let's say in that moment when you disengage or drop thought, start to notice the awareness which remains. It is a simple awareness. It is not awareness with words. It is just a presence. It is your presence. It is you. This step is so crucial because you start to realize that awareness does not equal thinking. That awareness is free from words, from languaging, from concepts. It helps you realize that you are that awareness and not thinking. You are not the thinking which is seen to come and go, which projects ideas and illusions. You are the awareness which is always prior to thinking. You are awareness which is always aware of thinking, yet not involved in it. You are the awareness which is not affected by thinking, which comes and goes. This is your place of peace, of stability, of identity. This is your aliveness. This is what you cherish the most. This is your beingness. This is your true self, prior to all the ideas that thoughts project about you. I am this, I am that, I used to be this person, I am that person. All of that is the ego. All of that is just the self-image. You are this serene, ever-present awareness, which is prior to the thoughts which are arising. So this is the fourth step. You have to become aware of that. Notice that awareness. Do it now. Don't wait for later. There's no later in this because that awareness is always now. It is what you feel as now. Isn't that a beautiful thing? Now. Notice that presence which enlivens this moment. This, my friend, is the fourth step. So the first step we noticed, let me just do a summary of the 4 steps and then we'll get into the 30-day plan for you to help you really become established in this and become free from identification with thoughts. The first step was recognize you are not your thoughts. You're not doing thoughts. Thoughts are just happening. And the content of those thoughts you're not choosing. It's just happening. Then second step, we learned how you have to let go of interest in thoughts. You have to let go of interest in me and my life for the moments of practice. Otherwise, you will remain hooked into thoughts. When you relax interest in thoughts, attachment to what they have to say, then you are able to do the third step, which is disengage. Just drop thoughts. Redirect your attention. And then the fourth step is when you are without thought, when you have disengaged, what remains? Notice the awareness which remains. Notice the presence, the pristine, alive, ever-present awareness, which is peaceful, silent, wordless. This is your true identity. This is your true peace. This is where you have to start becoming more established. So now how to bring this into a 30-day practice. So for the next 30 days, I invite you to practice this in a sit-down meditation where you will sit twice per day, once in the morning before you begin your work, and once in maybe the afternoon or evening. I recommend not doing it too late at night because you'll be sleepy and tired and you won't be able to be alert enough. But I would maybe say do it in the evening, maybe before you have had your dinner. During those 2 sessions of 20 minutes each session. And it may sound like a lot to you right now if you've never done this before, but I promise you, this will be the most rewarding thing you ever do for yourself. Are you committed enough to see this through? If you say you want to be free from mind identification, are you willing to put in the work for it? Are you willing to just do this simple thing? I know it's going to be a little daunting at first, but are you willing to implement these 2 sessions in the middle of your day? One in the morning, one in the evening. Because this will really become the foundation that will help you get established in this. That will help you become free from suffering your thoughts, being lost in concepts always. During those 20 minutes, you're going to practice this meditation. This is, what we just talked about, the 4 steps? This practically is meditation, where you just keep disengaging from thoughts. You keep bringing your attention back. Whenever you find yourself in thoughts, you keep bringing your attention back, either to breath or the body sensation. And when you are without thought, you notice what remains. You notice the awareness which remains. Keep returning to that wordless awareness, that wordless presence. So twice per day for 20 minutes, you're going to do that. You're going to sit silently without anything in your ear, not watching something. You're going to close your eyes. You're going to sit in a comfortable position. It doesn't have to be on the floor. It can be in a chair, wherever it is comfortable for you. And you're going to go within yourself and you're going to practice this, disengaging from thought. If you're just starting out, I can tell you that it's going to be a long time before you feel like you're successful at this. But you just by being consistent, you will find that you are more and more free from compulsion in thought activity, just being like thinking about life during your sessions. Your sessions will grow. Your meditation will grow. So you do that twice per day, right? And then during the day when you are out and about, you'll start to notice that when you start doing your meditation sessions, you'll automatically start to have those moments of presence during the day where you notice that you're totally lost in thinking. So when you're lost in that thinking and you notice it during the day, wherever you are, whether at work or wherever else, just practice these 4 steps. Recognize you are not that thought. Let go of interest in it. Simply disengage, redirect your attention, and notice what remains. Notice the awareness which remains. Be that awareness. Try to hold on to it. You may lose yourself again, but just keep trying to come back here whenever you remember to. Don't have any pressure on yourself, but just keep returning whenever you remember to. And my friend, if you stay consistent with this practice, I can guarantee you that your identification with thoughts will start to diminish. And how much you suffer life will also start to go. This is a very simple approach, but it works. But what it requires from you is consistency, devotion. Now, if you need help with this, I'm glad to help you. We have a free support group where we talk about this practice all the time. And we even have a mini course in there which will guide you through this deep practice that will help you dissolve mind identification. So I really invite you to join that in the description box below. It's completely free. So there are a few other resources in the description as well that may have helped you. So check those out. But I really hope that this video helped you today. And I can't wait for you to become free from identifying with your thoughts. Practice, practice, practice.